The government is back open. And it's a good thing because now the FBI investigation and the secret society inside of the FBI have the money that they need to try and bring down the Trump administration. And President Trump addressed the March for Life. That was a big moment for the pro-life movement. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. As I've been reading the news over the last few days, I have become increasingly alarmed at the comments after news stories that you see online. I, like many Americans, I'm not buying newspapers very often anymore, and I'm reading the news online, whether it's the New York Times, the Washington Post, Yahoo News, The Hill, Politico, whatever. And after a story, you can scroll down and read comments. I have been alarmed at the number of people that are publicly talking about hanging, killing government officials who are involved in the FBI, who it has come out are evidently trying to bring down the Trump administration. There's a visceral hatred going on that I have never seen in my life, and I don't believe has been seen in America since at least the Civil War, perhaps the Revolutionary War. And this is stemming from, for those of you who've been victims of ABC, CBS, and NBC, the sins of their silence are starting to catch up with them. But there are people on Special Prosecutor Mueller's team who are seasoned, part of the apparatus, seasoned members of the FBI, who were involved in covering up Hillary's email scandal, not bringing charges against her, and then perhaps trumping up charges against President Trump. And 5 months of texts between one of the chief investigators and his mistress or his girlfriend, 5 months of texts between them just disappeared. Now, this is the FBI we're talking about. The FBI can't find them. And they all disappeared from the day that Mueller got appointed. So this man went back and deleted 5 months of texts between him and his girlfriend. All right, they have 50,000 texts between them. But there are 5 months that are missing. Does anyone smell a rat? And the day that Mueller got appointed, that's when he deleted the text. And the FBI says they just can't find them. They don't have... The FBI? They can't go back and get the text? For goodness gracious, the federal government is spying on everyone. So if you look at these stories afterwards, they're the visceral reaction of everyday Americans calling for imprisonment, banishment, torture, hanging them, beating them. I'm not making this up. Go look for yourself. I'm not advocating it. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm saying that it is. I'm just reporting to you what I'm seeing. And it's truly alarming. And what it speaks to is that many average Americans simply no longer trust their government. And they believe that their government is the villain. They believe that the law enforcement apparatus of the Department of Justice and the FBI and the CIA, that they are the bad guys. That we have a deep state, that we have a funded infrastructure inside of our government that is a fifth column against liberty, against our rights, against our president. So I don't know how this is going to play out, but I have a feeling it's going to end badly. I really do. And I'm not a doom and gloom kind of person, except that I can do math. I can do math. And if you've got to pay a $1,000 mortgage and you add up all your money and you say, well, all we've got is $622, then you go, we're going to be short $378. It's not doom and gloom. It's just math. And when you see where the wheels are turning right now, where we're headed, when you bring together the dynamics of the innocent blood that is crying from the ground for vengeance, the howling sins of homosexual marriage crying out to God, the suppression of our rights, the spying on American people, people inside of the FBI trying to bring down the Trump administration, the loss of our liberties, the spying on us from our own government that Edward Snowden exposed. I mean, just add up all of this and the fact that a poll was taken not too long ago where the poll found that a full 1/3 of Americans, 1/3, that's 3 out of every people that you look at, they believe that a violent revolution, a shooting revolution is going to be necessary to restore our constitutional rights. That's scary. That's scary. That's where we are. So the Bible says a wise man sees danger approaching and hides himself or prepares for it. The fool passes on and suffers. I'm throwing this out there so that we can all begin to think, what can we do to avert a mega crisis and to bring America back to righteousness and justice without massive violence, turbulence, and bloodshed? Please help us, God, please. I'll be right back. I want to play for you some clips from the president's speech. Don't go away. Today, many so-called Christian intellectuals believe that the God of evolution used billions of years of death and destruction to evolve the bodies of the first human beings. Then, they simply declare the theory of evolution as fact to justify their unproven scientific fallacies. By the grace of God, more and more Catholics are rejecting this modern-day mythology in favor of the traditional doctrine of creation, as recorded by the Bible and believed and taught by all the fathers and doctors of the church. To find out how sound theology and natural science confirm the sacred history of Genesis, visit the Colby Center for the Study of Creation, and be sure to check out our bookstore, which has titles like I Have Spoken to You from Heaven, A Catholic Defense of Creation in 6 Days, and A Catholic Assessment of Evolutionary Theory. That's the Colby Center for the Study of Creation. The President of the United States addressed the March for Life at the end of last week, 45th Annual March for Life, and it is the first time that a president spoke, satellite rally at the Rose Garden, spoke visibly to the March for Life. President Reagan spoke by phone years ago. For those of you who don't remember, I have been a pro-life activist for over 30 years. I'm the founder of Operation Rescue, been arrested almost 50 times for peaceful protest against child killing. I've spent most of my adult life fighting to restore the right to life, the protection of law to unborn babies. So as a part of my service to you, as a broadcaster, most of you did not see the entire speech. It's only about 9 minutes. I'm going to play it so that you can see it. And I thought that it was phenomenal that he spoke. It surely helped the news coverage, which has been abysmal in the last few years. But it was a little flat. You watch for yourself, and then I'm going to you listen for what you don't hear, okay? Watch.
Thank you very much. That's so nice. Sit, please. We have tens of thousands of people watching us right down the road. Tens of thousands. So I congratulate you, and at least we picked a beautiful day. You can't get a more beautiful day. I want to thank our Vice President, Mike Pence, for that wonderful introduction. I also want to thank you and Karen for being true champions for life. Thank you, and thank Karen. Today I'm honored and really proud to be the first president to stand with you here at the White House to address the 45th March for Life. That's very, very special. 45th March for Life, and this is a truly remarkable group. Today, tens of thousands of families, students, and patriots, and really just great citizens gather here in our nation's capital. You come from many backgrounds, many places, but you all come for one beautiful cause: to build a society where life is celebrated, protected, and cherished. The March for Life is a movement born out of love. You love your families, you love your neighbors, you love our nation, and you love every child, born and unborn, because you believe that every life is sacred, that every child is a precious gift from God. We know that life is the greatest miracle of all. We see it in the eyes of every new mother who cradles that wonderful, innocent, and glorious newborn child in her loving arms. I want to thank every person here today and all across our country who works with such big hearts and tireless devotion to make sure that parents have the care and support they need to choose life. Because of you, tens of thousands of Americans have been born and reached their full God-given potential. Because of you. You're living witnesses of this year's March for Life theme, and that theme is Love Saves Lives. As you all know, Roe versus Wade has resulted in some of the most permissive abortion laws anywhere in the world. For example, in the United States, it's one of only 7 countries to allow elective late-term abortions, along with China, North Korea, and others. Right now, in a number of states, the laws allow a baby to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change. Americans are more and more pro-life. You see that all the time. In fact, only 12% of Americans support abortion on demand at any time. Under my administration, we will always defend the very first right in the Declaration of Independence, and that is the right to life. Tomorrow will mark exactly 1 year since I took the oath of office. And I will say our country is doing really well. Our economy is perhaps the best it's ever been. You look at the job numbers, you look at the companies pouring back into our country, you look at the stock market at an all-time high, unemployment, 17-year low, unemployment for African-American workers at the lowest mark in the history of our country, unemployment for Hispanic at a record low in history, unemployment for women, think of this, at an 18-year low. We're really proud of what we're doing. And during my first week in office, I reinstated a policy first put in place by President Ronald Reagan, the Mexico City policy. I strongly supported the House of Representatives' pain-capable bill, which would end painful late-term abortions nationwide.
Importantly, again, thankful that he spoke. But what you didn't hear was a number of dead babies. Comparing us to China and Korea is good, but there's 60 million dead children in America. And what he didn't say clearly, he alluded to it, but he didn't say clearly was, we must restore the full protection of law to unborn babies. Have Muslim terrorists hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam? Or is there more to the story? The answer lies in the life of one man, Mohammed, the founder of Islam. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a 1,400-year-old story, a narrative that focuses on specific events in the life of Mohammed. We are going to look at Mohammed's life using their most sacred literature. We will look at Mohammed at the Battle of Badr. We'll see him deal with those who mock him. We'll see the times when he used deception. We'll witness Mohammed's anti-Semitism. And yes, we will discuss Mohammed and his teachings concerning sex, slavery, and jihad. Friend, if you want to understand Islamic terrorism, get this series today. You're a slave. It's 1864. 1865. You're a captive. and the federal government passes a constitutional amendment that outlaws slavery, and you're set free. On Monday, it's legal to own you. The following Monday, it's illegal to own you. Do you really think in that 7-day window that most of the slaveholders had their hearts changed? Do you care? No, you want to be free. That's why I don't care if hearts are changed. I care if the law is changed. And if your life was in danger, you wouldn't care if hearts were changed. You'd care if you got to live. All right, let's play the rest of the president's speech.
And I call upon the Senate to pass this important law and send it to my desk for signing. On the National Day of Prayer, I signed an executive order to protect religious liberty. Very proud of that. Today, I'm announcing that we have just issued a new proposal to protect conscience rights and religious freedoms of doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals. So important. I have also just reversed the previous administration's policy that restricted states' efforts to direct Medicaid funding away from abortion facilities that violate the law. We are protecting the sanctity of life and the family as the foundation of our society. But this movement can only succeed with the heart and the soul and the prayer of the people. Here with us today is Mary Anna Donadio from Greensboro, North Carolina. Where is Mariana? Hello, come on up here, Mariana. Come. Nice to see you, baby. Mariana was 17 when she found out she was pregnant. At first, she felt like she had no place to turn. But when she told her parents, they responded with total love, total affection, total support. Great parents? Great? I thought you were going to say that. I had to be careful. Mariana bravely chose life and soon gave birth to her son. She named him Benedict, which means blessing. Mariana was so grateful for her parents' love and support that she felt called to serve those who were not as fortunate as her. She joined with others in her community to start a maternity home to care for homeless women who were pregnant. It's great. They named it Room at the Inn. Today, Mariana and her husband, Don, are the parents of 6 beautiful children, and her eldest son, Benedict, and her daughter, Maria, join us here today. Where are they? Come on over. How are you? How are you? That's great. Over the last 15 years, Room at the Inn has provided housing, child care, counseling, education, and job training to more than 400 women. Even more importantly, it has given them hope. It has shown each woman that she is not forgotten, that she is not alone, and she really now has a whole family of people who will help her succeed. That hope is the true gift of this incredible movement that brings us together today. It is the gift of friendship, the gift of mentorship, and the gift of encouragement, love, and support. Those are beautiful words, and those are beautiful gifts. And most importantly of all, it is the gift of life itself. That is why we march. That is why we pray. And that is why we declare that America's future will be filled with goodness, peace, joy, dignity, and life for every child of God. Thank you to the March for Life. Special, special people, and we are with you all the way. May God bless you, and may God bless America. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. I am glad that the president spoke. I'm glad for the positive things that he said. I'm sad for what he didn't say, but it is what it is. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Friend, we have a series that will help you and those you love to have an impact on this country. It's called Insurrecta Nex. That's Latin for revolution against the killing of innocent people. This is the history, the philosophy, and the theology of social revolution in America. We look at the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of child labor, women's voting rights, the civil rights movement. All of them have this in common: courage, sacrifice, dedication, and in-your-face tactics and rhetoric. That's one of the reasons that we've been losing the culture wars the last 40 years, is because the bad guys are using these tactics and we aren't. We will send you this 14-part TV series along with these manuals for students, a teacher's facilitator guide for only $40. Go to 304-289-3700, 304-289-3700. I read a story over the weekend about a spike in people that are running for office at every level. The article discussed the fact that people are so outraged about what is going on that they're running for office. And the rage is from the left, because they feel betrayed by Chuck Schumer, who agreed with the president to go ahead and we'll just have a vote on DACA later, and they refunded the government. The government's up and running. They're enraged on the left, and they're enraged on the right against the Republicans, the machinery, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, who the failure of the Republican leadership, the failure of the Republican machine. So there's a great number of people that are running for office. And I hope that all of the people who are committed to evil lose, and I hope that all the people that are committed to righteousness win. I would love to see term limits for U.S. senators and U.S. House members. We have term limits for the president. Why not have term limits for the sitting members of the House and the Senate? The reason, by the way, that that's unlikely to happen is because the Senate and the House would have to vote to change their own lifespan. And they're probably not interested in doing that. But I digress. So maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you're one of the people that needs to consider running for office. Local level, county level, state level, maybe even running for the U.S. House. Maybe you can't win, but you could run a prophetic race. I ran against Obama in 2012. Some of you remember that. I was in the Democratic primary in several states. I actually beat him in 14 counties in Oklahoma. I carried the whole panhandle of Oklahoma. I beat a sitting president. And if they want me to be the president of those 4 counties, I will. But anyway, you can make a difference. And if you run in a federal campaign, you can run ads that talk about dead babies, the threat of Islam, and nobody can censor your ads. Did you understand what I just said? You can run ads that no one can censor your ads. By law, they have to run your ad. We showed aborted babies on TV constantly. It's a prophetic warning. So whether you want to run to make a statement, run to win, we have elections so that we don't have battles. We have elections so that we don't have killing and disappearances and revolution, all right? This is war by another means, and I would much rather settle our differences peacefully than with another civil war, okay? It's just how I feel. So ask yourself, as you watch this republic in grave danger, what can you do? And if it's not run for office, whose campaign can you work in? Whose campaign can you volunteer in? Think about it. God bless you. See you next time.